You are so blocked until some things in life are not running the way they should run. So
Hey guys, it's Elle and Nick.
Welcome back to our channel where we are all about
Living life
loving each other
and sharing good times with you all. For our new members, welcome. Feel free to subscribe and bring your friends. And those of you that have already subscribed to us, thank you and keep watching.
So today we are going to talk about what?
How we got back together. Yes. This is episode 5.
Yes.
Right?
And to those who are asking, I'm Nick.
And
She
I am
is
Elle.
Yes.
Yeah, without further ado, we don't want to talk too much. We just want to go right into it. So if you have watched the last episode, we talked about how we broke up and the many years that we stayed broken up. So we're gonna pick up right when I had blocked him off of my social medias and everywhere except Gmail because I couldn't. And yeah, I reached a point in my life where I was like, you know what, like I just want to let go of everything. I just want to be emotionally free. I don't want to hold on to anything. I just need to cleanse myself. And I just went on an emotional journey, decided to let go of all the things that I was holding on to, maybe all the anger or all the frustration or all the disappointment, and just be free, be able to enjoy life and live without any hard feelings or anything like that. And at the same time, I was also focusing on school, so I was like, I don't need to be thinking too much. And so I got to a point where I was emotionally free and I wasn't carrying any grudges in my heart or any hard feelings. So I got to a point where I was like, let me just unblock everyone. Not everyone, really. I hadn't blocked a lot of people. It was just him.
I'm the only one you blocked in your phone.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And then, so I was like, okay, let me unblock him because I think I'm in a good place now and it won't bother me or do anything if I see him or see what he's doing and that kind of a thing. So yeah, I went ahead and I unblocked him. And during the time when I was going through my cleansing, I was like, you know what, God, I don't need to figure anything out. You know what plans you have for me and what you intend for my life. And so I was open, I was okay, I was fine, I was going on with life. So I just made myself ready to accept.
Ready for what?
To accept whatever God had in mind for me.
See, when you say you are open and ready, so I was the one who was making you close by you blocking me.
No. I said I was open in my heart in general, like not in particularly for you. I was just ready for whatever would come. I had reached a point in my life, I thought maybe I would never get married, maybe I wouldn't date anyone, maybe I'll have to find...
Why?
Because I kept dating people and it didn't work out. And I felt like maybe it's not for me.
Oh, okay.
And I thought like maybe married life is not for me.
You are thinking about all this because you were in this space that you are dating people and people were not getting to the point where you want them to get to.
It just wasn't working out. It's not like there was anything particularly wrong with the people that I was dating. It's just that it wasn't exactly what I wanted, really. You know how like you know the kind of like a life you want and the kind of a relationship you want and the kind of a future you want. Like I just felt like maybe I didn't reach that point with anyone yet. And obviously like between me and you, we had tried a lot of times and it hadn't worked out. So I was like, okay, then I don't think this is for me.
So as she says, she unblocked me since I was the only one blocked, now that I've realized. And I remember at this time I was just going about my business, going to work, as you know, the traffic, and you're like just looking at your phone. Then I usually post a lot of WhatsApp statuses. And I was looking through the people who have seen it because it was maybe a yesterday's post. Like, wait, who? And I think at this time she had blocked me for maybe over a year and a half.
Yeah.
Actually, I was amazed that you actually saw my status, and I think I let that sweep through. I was like, I'll not even bother or say anything. So I went on posting whatever I was doing every day, and I kept seeing you popping up every other day. Once in a while, like today you may not see it, tomorrow you'll see it, and I'm like, okay, seems like the doors of these prison doors are open now. So I was like,
The prison.
yeah, because I think when people block you in very many platforms, I think there's a point in your life it actually also blocks. You feel like there's something that's not happening and you are not sure what it is. Maybe it's just the number of people that have blocked you across very many social media spaces. So you are so blocked until some things in life are not running the way they should run. So I was like, okay, one gate is open now, let me just say hi. So I think I said hi or something. Then
I put up a status and you responded to
oh, that's what happened. I thought so I'm the one who actually responded.
I think I had seen your statuses, but I never said anything.
Yes.
And then at a certain point, I also put up a status on my WhatsApp, and then you said something, you responded to
yeah I like talking about, like, if you put a status and if you are my friend or you have my number, and you always know that if I see a status that actually makes sense, I always, or maybe it's funny, I always comment, or something that maybe hits the nail on some topic, I always comment. So I think that was one of the statuses that actually made me talk. I can't remember what happened after, but I know we kept on talking once in a while.
Yeah, I think you said hi on that day, and then you said, how have you been? I said, I've been fine, but I still didn't want to talk too much because I was still like, you remember how in one of the episodes I said, like, once we start talking, it usually just kept on going. There was no hi and bye. We would start talking and catching up over a lot of things, and we end up just talking and talking and talking and talking. So I was like, let's just keep it brief. I don't want to talk for too long, but I've been okay. Very nice to hear from you. And you are like, when did you unblock me? And
yeah, you have always to find the reason, like, when was I unblocked? What have I been missing out on? And I was like, okay, it's good to finally say hi to her, because I think before you blocked me, it was just abrupt. I remember the day you blocked me, I was actually working, and it was in the middle of a project, and there was a problem in the system. You asked me a question, then I was like, I'm going to answer it. Then the system went down. And when the system goes down, I'm an IT professional. So when the system goes down, you actually stop everything that you are doing at that moment. You make sure that the priority is the system, bringing it up, especially if it's a live production environment. So at that time, you're like, why are you not responding to me? I just looked at that message and I said, God, the boss is just behind me and I have to bring up this system. I just put the phone aside. I said, I just need 5 minutes. I remember I told you, just give me 5 minutes, I'll respond. Give me some time. Then I think, like I said in the previous episode, like, some of these responses on text messages are usually misunderstood. So when you say give me some time, maybe someone feels like you are not really important on the other side. So they're like giving you time to think about, maybe I need more time to respond to exactly what you actually asked me. I made sure the system was okay. Coming back, my friend, all the social media pages, I was blocked.
But like, it just
that's how, no, I'm just coming back to how it happened, how that moment of you blocking me felt.
Yeah.
Then, so that I come back to,
no,
to this
I need
time.
to say something. I need to say something. It wasn't like Ati, you just didn't talk to me for 5 minutes and I blocked you. So this was the previous time, like before I blocked him. We had been talking about things and like trying to see how things are gonna work, and we were already like in a strained place. And maybe I had felt like you had been doing that maybe for a few times and I didn't like it. So I was like, you know what, maybe you're not serious about this.
Please remember that she had just said maybe. So she wasn't sure about this blocking thing. And I'm sure even when she unblocked, now she remembered that she was not sure the first time when she blocked me. Now she was unblocking me because of her not being sure the previous time. So I thank God for that. So you unblocked me.
No. You can't say that.
I just said it.
Well, you cannot. Because that's not true. Like, you're
You just
diluting the whole thing.
you just said
What
you blocked me because maybe that's it. We stop at that point.
No.
Okay, let's just go on with the story. Maybe it's not the reason. So
I didn't block.
So
I didn't block you because maybe I wasn't sure. I just felt like maybe you were not. No, I shouldn't say maybe then, because you're taking that one and taking it to the bank. I blocked you because I felt like you maybe were not taking the things I was taking seriously too seriously.
I feel like it's the same thing. She unblocked me. I think I started looking. I checked if I was also unblocked on Facebook. Am I also on unblocked on Instagram? So when all these platforms are open, you have more options of communication and sending images or even having a video call, right? Mm-hmm. That's all I remember by there up to that point.
Yeah, so yeah, so every now and then you chat, we'll just catch up, say how have you been doing, how's your week been and stuff. And then I think something happened in our estate back home and you were telling me about it. Yeah, so we talked a little bit more when that happened, and we talked about the issue that was going on. And then after that, you started to ask if we can video call. Yeah, and so I was like, no, I don't think so. No, it's okay, like it's fine, blah, blah, blah. And then after some time, I was like, okay, sure, let's video call. Yeah, so we ended up having a WhatsApp video call for like 6 hours straight, and it was just crazy. We talked about everything. We talked about like the last 2 years, basically, like what we've been up to, what's happened, like how's life, how's everything going and all that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was nice to talk to you.
Yeah, well, okay, of course, to me, it was the same thing, because it's like this friend that you've had for a very long time, then they disappeared, went into war, and they are now back. And you're like, how was war? The life out here is like a war zone, to be honest. So when someone comes back, and there are a lot of things, this was of course before the pandemic, and there are other pandemics that happen as you go through life, that some are endemic to your region, and seeing someone come back alive and well, it's actually a blessing.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we talked and everything, and I tried to make sure that we conversed more about if there's a possibility of us like getting back together, because I felt like there was no time. If you've been like away for quite some time and someone now comes back and you have the opportunity to say all the things that you wanted to say. So first of all, I had to clarify what really happened before she blocked me the last time. That's when I brought about that story that I've just told of the system and everything, and told her that actually this is what I felt and you misunderstood me at this time. So these long distance relationship things, a mountain can be formed out of nothing.
Yeah, true.
And you find yourselves like on two opposite sides that now you can't communicate. That's exactly what happened to us.
It was hard before, and even then, like when he started talking about like us seeing if we can get back together, of course, like in my head I was like, okay, I said I'm gonna be open to possibilities, but at the same time I'm like, we've tried this so many times. Like we had tried to talk, get back together, and each time that we tried it didn't work. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, I still feel, like there's something there, but I don't know if I want to try again. Yeah, so when he brought up that maybe we should try and see if there's a possibility of us getting back together, I was like, I don't know exactly, because it's always been so hard and we tried so many times before and it never worked. So I was a little bit not sure, but at the same time I was like, well, I said I'm going to be open, so I shouldn't like be closed off to this idea. So yeah, so we started talking about what we're gonna do about the challenges we've had in the past, like what's gonna be different, how we are gonna make it work this time. And
yeah, so during this time, of course, when you talk, like I said, you prioritize on seeing if there's light at the end of the tunnel. And the one I came to realize is you are actually not seeing anyone at that point. And I believe at that point I was also not in a relationship. And I said, why not try again? But only that this time, if we try, we have to make sure that either one of us goes the other way. Like we have to meet so that this works. So this long distance relationship thing, we have to find a solution, because the last time we didn't actually find a conclusive solution. So we got into it and we started talking about so many other things, like what maybe she likes, what is different right now, what she's pursuing, what I'm going through at work. And as we went on talking, you come to realize that it's the same person. You're just going through the same flow of conversations. So you are laughing the same way you used to. The only thing that had passed was time. But the wholesome person that you used to know is still the same person.
Yeah.
And you find out that you are both waiting for each other. And I was like, let's start planning again then.
Yeah.
And remember, it's not easy because the distance still exists.
There, yeah.
The only difference now was that we had more information in terms of knowing the different processes that we can use to get to each other, and whichever bridges we need to cross in order to make sure that this actually works. We started looking at the options that we may have. And so the one thing that we knew for sure was that we had to see each other, like in person. And to do that, we had to choose one of the paths that works best for us, and one that is very short.
Yeah, so I think even before we got to a point of realizing that, okay, this process will work, we knew that we had to first meet and see if what we felt for each other that many years ago, because this was 2019, beginning of 2019 is when we were having these conversations, and the last time we saw each other was 2010. So many years had passed, so much time had passed, and when we talked to each other, we still felt like we felt the same, but we still knew that we needed to see each other again to be able to know if you still feel the person, if you still share the same feelings, if your chemistry still exists, if you still like enjoy each other's company. There's so many things that had changed about both of us, and you know, a lot of different experiences. So we needed to know first, like, is that still true for us? Like, will it give us a chance that, you know, whatever we have in mind, that if we end up together is what it's gonna be, is that still true? Yeah, so we decided that I will be taking a trip back home, and yeah, so that we can find out if there's still anything there, or it's worth pursuing, or we're just curious, or like just living off of what we thought in our minds, or just going off, you know, the nostalgia of the young love that we had. Yeah.
So the good thing about this time that we started talking was that now things had advanced. It's now 9 years in. We now have more social media applications that we can use. Communication isn't as hard as we used to yeah, as it used to be. We now have internet calls, video calls, like more and faster internet across like Kenya, and the US of course has good internet, and very many options to pursue in order to communicate. So communication like got much better.
Yeah.
And we also had grown in our own lives in terms of being mature, understanding what someone is going through. Now I know what a night shift is, and I've been through formal employment. So it was not as hard understanding compared to the young love
time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, like, being that it was 9 years later and we still felt like we wanted to be with each other, it also played a part in us like pursuing that more seriously and trying to understand each other better, and trying to be very patient with each other, and trying to be understanding, especially with time, because at the time I was still going to school. I feel like I've been going to school forever and still working, and now he was working professionally, and so we had to be very, very specific with time, like what time can we talk, and you know, if you decided that you need to talk at this time, you make sure you make time for that. If you're not going to be available, you let the other person know that, hey, I don't think that time is going to work because this and that came up, and you make another time to talk to each other. So you find like your decisions are better, and your timing, you're able to balance it a little bit more, and be more available.
Yeah. Actually, what I remember from the many conversations we had, I was actually very surprised that you are still in school after all these years. At this time, I think I had been working for around 4 or 5 years. So I was like, what do you mean you're still in school?
Yeah.
All these years, still in school.
So many years.
It was really interesting, some of the conversations we had, and I really enjoyed having these conversations because it brought a lot of light into who you had become. And on my side too, by the time we were talking, I wasn't in any professional work environment. Oh, I was, right?
Yeah, you were. Remember, that's even the last time that we were talking, you were talking to your boss before you...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, we kept talking like that for a couple of months. So I think sometime beginning of 2019, I booked a flight to go back to Kenya in May. And so between that time and May, like, we were still trying to figure out, like, is this really what we want? Like, is this going to work? Are we ready to do whatever it takes to make it work?
So that was the short-term target that we had on your side to make sure that now you come to the country. And on my side, it was like starting a process that was going to not only be very kind of long, and was going to involve some finances and some change. The options that we had, making sure that either I come... Actually, we looked on all the options. Will it benefit us? Like, if you come, is it easier? What are the advantages of her changing to come to Kenya? And what are the disadvantages? At the same time, what are the advantages and disadvantages of me moving from Kenya, going into the US and changing my life to make sure that this works? So we had to go through all that. And some of the decisions were not easy, and some of the options looked very far-fetched. We just had to go sit down and deliberate. So when she agreed to come, I never saw it coming, by the way. I never thought that the day would come that you would agree to fly back to Kenya.
Oh, really? I think I had been ready a couple of times to come, but I was always hesitant because I didn't want to come and then, like, just show up abruptly, or like just show up and we're not in a good place, because that probably wouldn't end up being a good meeting if we saw each other. If I came, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm ready to go. But when we started talking, and we started talking in this way that let's see, how things will go, let's give this a shot for real, then I was like, okay, I think it's gonna be worth it, and just see where everything goes. Like, once we meet in person the first time, it would really give us the way forward. Like, we would discover, oh my gosh, like, no, I don't think either I don't think we can be together, or we'll be like, yeah, this is exactly what we want, and like then we'll know. So it's then not knowing too, like, like when you haven't tried something and you feel like maybe you have an opportunity to find something else out about it, or try one more try, and you don't do it, you always feel like, what if we took that chance? What if I just went and, like, figured it out? You'd have that answer, you'd have the closure. But if you don't, then you always wonder. So I was like, it's worth it to go and just figure out if we're gonna be together, or we at least want to be together, or like together we can have a lot more conversations about the processes and what our options are, and how much it's gonna cost, and what needs to be done. So those conversations we touched on while we were still on the phone, like while I was still here. But really, I felt like we need to have like really like deep conversations about what it's gonna take. So I booked my flight. My flight was in May, and I think our next episode we're gonna talk about when I landed and what happened, and that whole trip and everything that came from it. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. That's the next episode.
Yeah, but I think you should tell them like what you are feeling when you're anticipating me to come, like after I bought my ticket, how you felt.
The moment you sent the screenshot, I was like, okay, now it's happening.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because it had been so long since I saw you. So I was like, wow, this is actually happening. The moment you actually showed me the ticket, I had like 2 months or something. I actually believed she'll come the day that I see you in the airport. Like, These things change. Flights can be delayed. Someone can change their mind. So you only believe someone is going to fly in after you see them physically.
Yeah.
Now you believe they are here.
Wow.
To be honest, I didn't believe that it's going to happen.
Why not?
Like, it had been like how many years? 9 years?
So many years.
Those are so many years.
Yeah.
It's like saying, for instance, you say a hurricane in Kenya. There's never been a hurricane. Like, I can't remember since I was born if that there was this year that there was this hurricane Kilimanjaro that came and swept through Kilimanjaro and all the areas surrounding Kilimanjaro. You see, I've never had such a thing. So when someone says they're coming and it's 9 years, you're like, we're Africans, let them land, then we believe they're here.
Yeah, but at least I think you had some hope that I was gonna be coming because you asked for some time off from work.
I had to be prepared. I actually forgot that I took some time off, by the way.
Yeah, you did. That is how we got back together and decided that we want to give this one more shot. And yeah, I bought my ticket. So
guys, like, share, subscribe, and make sure you tune in to the next episode.
As we always say,
see you on the next one.
And in the meantime, share some love, life, and laughter with someone. Bye.